Hey, y'all. Welcome to the first episode of The Soul Reader with me, your host, Anthony Cordova, Tony C., the man about love, and now also the Soul Reader. Oh my gosh. Where did this come from? I mean, really? Oh, wow. I welcome everyone that's here. I really do. Who do we have in the audience? I can't see straight. Who do we have here, Jill? I see. We don't have anybody here? Oh, yes, we do. I see Georgia, and I see Dr. Judy is our guest this evening, and it's going to be fabulous when you hear what she does. It's just incredible what she does. And I did see my friend Tammy here a moment ago, but she's not here. But that's okay. I'm happy for everyone that's here, especially you, Georgia, and everyone that's going to listen in replay. So thanks so much. So I'm going to get right to this. This show is called The Soul Reader. And I am a soul reader. So I am a psychic, natural born empath. So I was born with this. I've been involved with it my whole life. For many years, I thought it was a curse. And it took probably the first 30 years of my life before I realized it wasn't a curse. And I really started getting control of this gift I have. So the reason I call myself the soul reader is because I connect best with a person's soul. So yeah, I can tell you many things. I'm not a medium, although people from the other side have connected with me, but I don't go out and connect to them. So they come to me, but I don't consider myself a medium. I am not like Tyler Henry. No, that's a gift I a little bit have, but not a whole lot. So that's basically what I do. Now the focus on this show is you, the audience member. That is the focus. I am here for you. The reason the title of this first show is How to Be Happy with Yourself, because once you find your true self, who you were at birth, your actual soul, we have gotten away from our souls, our true souls, and what they are. Now, the deal is, the more you become your true self, the happier you become, the happier and the better everything gets in line for you and for your life and everything else. When you learn to be happy with yourself, to be who you truly are, then it's easy to give love and it's easy to receive love. And when we start from that point, so we have to kind of go backwards and unlearn all the bad stuff we've learned in life and learn to be who we truly should be. So that's kind of what we have to do. So tonight, again, actually, let me tell you a couple of things on how the show is going to run. I have a few segments. The first segment is Tony's Mind Mashup. And that's where we discuss the topic of the show, like today, how to be happy with yourself. Anyone in the audience is open to comment or ask questions in the chat area of the app. If you don't know how to use that, if you're new to Fireside, you can just click on the react button, choose an emoji, type in your comment or question, and then press send. And that's how you'll get a message to us. And so if you want to come to the stage, you can also request to come to the stage. And And you don't have to come to video to ask a question. But when we get to the next segment after that, which is Tony's soul reading, I really do need you on video for that. So, backtracking, the first segment is going to be Tony's Mind Mashup, and we will discuss that, the topic of the day. And then after that, we finish with that, we'll get into Tony's soul reading, and that should be pretty good. And I think my producer, you have something?
Yes, I just wanted to say that a couple more people have come in since you greeted the audience, and
Oh,
that's
who do we have?
we have Connie and Ronaldo,
Hello, Connie and Ronaldo.
and we have Brian who said hi to both of us, and he welcomed Dr. Judy.
Oh, hi, Brian Coletti. Brian Coletti is also a creator on the show, and he's just so positive. I'm so happy that he's here for my first show. So, if no one has a question at this point, and remember, you can ask a question anytime you want. In this show, I just want you to feel like you're sitting on the couch with me. You're just hanging out, chilling. So it's not going to be all mysterious and all woo woo, because this, what I do, is as natural to me as breathing. This is how I've lived my life. I kept it a secret for quite some time, but this is what I've done. Also, I would just want to let you know I'm not somebody that's just out of the blue. Oh, all of a sudden he's a psychic. He can read people. Oh, all of a sudden he's an empath. Not true. I have been passively reading people for over 30 years. When I say passively, I didn't advertise it. If someone somehow found out that I do readings, I would give them a reading. And I can help you with many, 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 many things. If you're not sure about your job, or whether you should leave or whether you should stay, if you are concerned about maybe there was a death in your family, or maybe someone is in hospice and you're having a hard time dealing with that, that's something I can help you with. If you always have bad relationships, I can help you with that. If it seems that you never quite seem to fit in, I can help you with that. So there's many, 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 many things I can help you with. The only thing I'm probably not going to do is to connect to one of your loved ones on the other side. But there's many things I can help you with, along with my guest for the evening. She can also help you incredibly, and she does some things that are just like, wow. You just have to take a step back and say, wow, she is amazing. So, my producer, Jill, my lovely wife, oh, see, this is what I was just going to ask her to do, to bring Dr. Judy to the stage. And that's Dr. Judy LeGrand. And now, with a name like that, you know she has to be special. So, hi, Dr. Judy.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me again.
Yes, thank you for coming. This is fantastic for my first show. This is like incredible. I love that you're here.
Thank you. I was listening to you. I was like, wow, like we're so much alike. It's so cool. It's so cool. Because a lot of people don't admit that, right? So the fact that like we're like so much alike, it's really cool. And I do like you said about the mediumship and stuff. I'm kind of similar. Like I don't advertise that, but it will sometimes happen, right? If it comes in a session, right? In a session. I've had people, like you said, come to me that they had passed over. And actually just recently, 2 people came to me, actually 3. The first one was really mad because I kept saying I'll relay the message and I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So that by the third time, I was like, okay, I'll relay the message. Then I never saw them again, which that for
Which
me
was
is like, okay,
good.
okay, got it. So, but yeah, so it's really interesting the last couple of times that they've come to me and have said, I
Mm-hmm.
need you to relay a message. And so I did, and then, and then that's it. But it used to be a little bit more crazy before, and I told the universe and God, and I was like, okay, we're not doing this. So we're only going to do it if it's something that needs to be said, needs to be done,
Mm-hmm.
is going to be well received. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't focus on that, but sometimes in a session, sometimes something may come up. But if somebody was like, hey, can you talk to my great uncle's dad's father's sister? Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Right, right. So, Dr. Judy, can you tell the audience more about yourself and what you do that's so special? Because what you do is really, really special. Oh my gosh. I wish I could do like you,
Thank you.
what you do. It's amazing. So, will you share that with the audience, please?
Sure, I would love to. So, it started out, I was 15 and I struggled with depression. And because of trying to heal myself naturally, I got into holistic healing essentially and started meditating. And meditation, I would get all these messages and would tell me to, like, join this club or go to this place to meditate and stuff like that. So um, trying to heal myself of depression, I was taking supplements, and then I got into meditation, like I said, and then I just kept joining or finding classes. Like I did Reiki, I did Usui and Karuna Reiki, quantum healing. So long story short, I have, on top of being natural empath and psychic and all of those wonderful things, I now have 15 or 16. I really don't remember. I really should, because I've I don't. Well, after 10, it's like whatever. And I and I don't. I I didn't do it to impress anyone. It was just a hobby at the time. I was trying to heal myself, and so I would take one thing and I would like it, but I didn't feel like it was enough for me to change or whatever. And so then I would try another modality and another modality, another modality, until I got to this one. So the one I use now is a subconscious release technique, and you're working with the subconscious mind, and it's kind of, I think, is simple. I know some people got in trouble for saying simple or easy, so we won't say that. We won't say that. But I think it's simple or easy because we all
It's
have to
easy for
change.
you.
It's easy for me. So
All right.
working with the subconscious mind and changing programs, changing belief systems, changing how we feel, essentially how we feel, right? So if we're thinking of something, I don't like this, you can call me, hey, Judy, I don't like the way I feel about this. Bing, bang, boom. You'll either
Mm-hmm.
forget why you called me or just feel amazing. I've had that. So those are my top two. The top two responses are forgetting why they called, which is awesome, right? Especially when you're calling me, you're okay. Why did they call you? I don't know. Are you okay now? Yeah, I'm amazing. Thanks. Okay, bye. Um, which is
That's
really,
fabulous.
right? I mean, it's kind of weird, but in a sense, it's really cool because, these people were in pain, right? They were,
Mm-hmm.
depressed like I had one client who was physically abused and called me
Mm-hmm.
and forgot 45 minutes later because I'd had her, laughing, and I had her doing other things to get her minded off. And she's like, I actually forgot why I called. I'm like, okay, well, you still need to go to the hospital.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We still need to go to the hospital. I'm like, but I'm glad I could help you on the way. So, because she had called me on her way, to pick up her kid and then to go. So, but yeah, so it's not that. So it's that and feeling more at peace, and more just lighter is usually the
Right.
top three that I get. So, but we're working on a subconscious level, and which is it's kind of like being an empath. It's a curse and a blessing, because the subconscious is now an automatic. So you're working on automatic. So if we heal something or clear something, you are going to behave on an automatic level versus a conscious level. Like, oh wait, she said to do this, right? There is none of that. You're just automatically going to respond in a different in a different manner. So, and I know Jill has amazing testimonial of things that, I worked with her,
Oh,
with
yes.
on. And so, yeah, so if we're looking for a conscious, I think that's like the downside. If you're looking for a conscious shift, you may or may not see it depending on what your gift is. Like for us being an empath,
Hmm.
we'll feel the difference. We may see the difference. But someone who just
Hmm.
no concept of what their gifts are, it may be somebody else that would say, hey, you're reacting differently,
Hmm.
before they may notice. Everybody is different, so I can't really say it's a cookie cutter thing. Some people get really
Right.
tired when they work with me, some people get super energetic working with me, and it's so different for everybody, but either
Hmm.
way you will get a shift for sure.
Okay, that is fabulous. I'm sure the audience gets it now, what you do. The audience hasn't seen what I do yet. I just gave a brief description of what I do. And I probably didn't cover all of it, but I would like to get into the topic of the episode, which is, and Dr. Judy, I would like you to stay on the stage and be in this conversation with me on how to be happy with yourself. So, everybody, this is the next segment, Tony's Mind Mashup. Get ready. And anyone is welcome to comment or question during this talk. I actually encourage it. So if there's anything you want to ask, feel free during
Here
the
I am.
conversation. Yes.
I
And
want to
Dr. G, go ahead.
I want to see what you do. I want to see it.
Well, that's going to be at Tony's soul reading section. So we'll get to
Okay.
that after we talk about this. So the question is, and I'm just going to have this conversation with you instead of just rambling, Dr. Judy, if you don't mind. The question is how to be happy with yourself. How do you get to that point? How how does a person become happy with themselves if they don't even know they're not happy with themselves? So, where would you tell a person to start, Dr. Judy?
Well, the quickest and fastest answer is you have to choose it, right? We have to choose to be happy. I think society as a whole has gotten stuck with watching the television or media or our outside sources, and however they treat us or behave, that is going to dictate our emotions and our feelings and our experiences. And really it's within us, which is part of what I do, right? So I help empower you to be better, be happier within yourself, so then you can be an intentional creator. But it really starts with a choice, right? That mental choice of how do I want my day to be? How do I want it to start? And it really does start with you, and it starts with a choice.
Yes, I do agree with that. I notice when it comes to me and when I'm talking to other people like us, we all seem to have a different way to get to the same point. So I agree with you. I mean, I'm 100% with you. So, how does a person become happy with themselves? Well, first of all, I think a person needs to know what's important in life. Now, one of the number one things is love. So, how do you love someone? How do you love someone when you may not love yourself? You may have negative talk about yourself all the time. Or there may be people that are putting you down throughout your life. And that's even harder on a person. So that is one way. And how does a person shed all of those years of just life happening to them and external pressures and all of this stuff that's going on. And like in my case, I thought that was just life. If somebody said, "Are you happy?" Oh yeah, I'm happy. I wasn't. No problem. I'm happy. Like you, I was depressed for 40 years. 40 years. I didn't even realize I was depressed until I was in my 30s. I just thought it was life.
Yeah.
Just thought it was life.
Right.
And I was able to cure myself from depression, one through meditation. Another is through a book I read written by Dr. Joe Dispenza, which is about how to break the habit of being yourself. So, how to change your mind, your thought process, and all of that. And actually, Dr. Judy, I know you talk about the conscious and self-conscious mind, but that is what it gets into. Your conscious mind is telling you, "Oh, my life is horrible. Oh, everyone treats me bad." All of the, but your subconscious, that's the one you want to tap into, because that's the one that's going to tell you you're wonderful, you're loved, spread some love, and all of that. So, one of the ways to start, just to start, is of many, and this is why I'm saying just to start,
Right.
is to learn to love yourself. Learn to love yourself. Learn that you're enough just the way you are. You don't need anyone else to complete you. You don't need things to make you happy. You don't need a car. You don't need the best designer clothes. You don't need any of this. But you start at that point. That's if a person is doing it on their own. Now, if that person would come to someone like me and ask, "How do I do that?" we may have to start at a different point. We may have to start if you were abused as a child. You might have to start if you lived in a severely dysfunctional home with physical abuse and mental abuse and verbal abuse and all of that. You might need to start there. There's many different points where a person would have to start to, and it's different for everybody. Everybody can't go to that point of trauma and just jump into it. They might need to start somewhere else. But that's what I feel. I feel it's almost like I can instantly feel where to start. It might be as simple as starting with a different job. Something that they love, something that's going to lift their self-esteem. The starting point might be learning how to interact with people. It could be just about anything. So being happy with yourself can be a long process. And something I say about a lot of things, it's so easy, but then it's really so hard too. It can be both things. And it's up to that person. So, like I said, I'm backtracking now. I was depressed for 30, 40 years. And again, it was meditation, Dr. Joe, it was therapy also. And I was on tons of meds for my depression already. And I was gradually able to take myself off of that stuff. But if I hadn't done all of those things, and during that process, I learned that what I thought was a curse was my gift, was my blessing. And that's when I started opening up, and I wasn't as afraid to share my gift as I was in the past, because it's who I am. So how could I possibly be happy with myself if I'm hiding from the world? I'm hiding from my family, from my relatives, the things they just don't know about me, and I'm keeping it a secret
Right.
because they may not understand. So that's the quick version on how to start being happy with yourself. Do you have anything to add to that, Dr. Judy?
Sure. Our lives were very parallel. I can relate to all of that. Being on the medicine and taking myself off of that, trying to heal myself. I did all of that stuff, and yeah. So I agree with everything that you said too. And it's going back to what I said. It's first you have to choose, right? I want to be happy. Okay, and then it's like, okay, how can I make myself happy? What is my next step? I worked with a client today about treasuring herself, right? So making decisions. If when you make this decision, am I treasuring myself? Am I loving myself? I use treasure because that was the word that she needed for the time. So for you, it could be love, or for the
Mm-hmm.
audience, it could be, bliss or harmony, whatever. But when we're making decisions, especially, I know being a nanny, I know like moms and stay-at-home moms and single moms, they're constantly giving, right? It's just constant
Mm-hmm.
give, and they put themselves in the back burner. I know my sister, puts herself on the back burner and just gives and gives and gives. And for everybody, not just my nephew, but just everybody just keeps giving. And sometimes you get depleted at a point where you get depleted
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, okay, you should do something for yourself. But for so many years, you've been giving and doing other things. Then you come back to you. How do I make myself happy? So one of the questions is this a loving decision, right? Is this, if I do this, am I loving myself? Is this a kind thing? And it goes down even the food that you eat, right? If I eat this, am I being kind to myself, right? If you've never
Mm-hmm.
had a cookie, or you haven't had a cookie in 2 years and you really like this bakery, is that loving yourself? Well, is it loving for your body, like health-wise? No, but you haven't had it in 2 years, 3 years. It's going to make you happy and sing for that time that you're eating the cookie. Then eat the cookie, right? But you know what I'm saying? But it's whatever's going to make you happy, whatever's going to, is this loving myself? Is this making, and the other thing is too, you were saying about you said something about like affirmations or something, perfectly imperfect. There's 2 affirmations that I had for myself that I impacted, like literally made into my DNA. And it's, I am amazing. I had no idea how or why, but I just decided I'm amazing. And I'll let the universe decide why, right? So I am amazing
Mm-hmm.
was my thing. So you can pick whatever affirmation you want, and then you just slowly let the universe create that within you, right? So it becomes part of your DNA, which is also something that we can obviously address and heal and clear. And then perfectly imperfect. I am perfectly imperfect, because no one is perfect. And striving for perfection is a
Mm-hmm.
disease that you're never going to cure.
Correct.
So I'm perfectly imperfect, just the way that I am. And those were the 2 that I think I really stuck to. And now at this point in my life, if anybody asks me or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, I needed to do this, I need to do this," I'm like, "Nope, you're perfectly imperfect, just the way that you are." And you can't argue with that.
Correct.
You can't argue. I'm perfectly
Absolutely.
imperfect.
Absolutely correct. Not argue with that. But what happens with that, and I'm going to keep going back to this. It is about your conscious and your self-conscious. So once you, and I'm not going to say believed you were amazing, once you knew
Yes.
you were amazing, you knew that. In the beginning maybe you didn't,
Right.
but after a while you knew that to be true.
Right.
And that's another thing I say a lot. If I say I know this to be true, and I'm talking about something in the other realm, you can take it to the bank. I know that to be true. If I say I know I'm supposed to do something, and I say I know this is true, I know this is factual, that's what I'm going to do, because the message didn't come from my head, came from somewhere else.
I understand that completely.
So I listen, and that's the other thing: surrender.
Yes.
We have to surrender, because from the other side, they will never misguide us. It is us that misguide ourselves.
Misinterpret or misunderstand.
That is correct. We put our own logic in. It's I'm a creative person, but I'm also analytic, so I have to think it through. Well, what if this? What if Well, I got to think it through. Well, how does that work? Um, and the older I get, the more I realize when I'm supposed to just let the analytic go. Just let it go. It's good sometimes, but it's not good all the time.
Right.
And the analytic side can steer me wrong at times. And other times it keeps me on track, but I have to learn when to use it and when not to use it. And which can be difficult sometimes. Okay, now here's the issue. And I want to say hi to Really Charlie. But here's the issue. If I'm going to do Tony's soul reading, there's no one in the audience tonight to read that I don't know except for Brian. And I know Brian a little bit, but not a lot. So he is the only person that I would probably read tonight. And I think there's a comment. Let's see.
Charlie actually wrote, I am so ready to speak to both of you very soon.
Are we talking about now very soon?
I don't know. I'm just reading the message.
Well, here is Brian Coletti. You're going to bring him up, Jill?
He's there.
Okay, great. Hello, Brian Coletti. How have you been?
Hi, Anthony. First, I want to just make a nice correction. It is Coletto.
Coletto. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you.
But yeah, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I couldn't be much better, actually. It's amazing. I really am. The launch of this show has made me so happy that I'm finally doing this. How's your show been going?
My show has been going well.
Hey, there you go.
Yes, I'm here. Yeah, I've usually been doing it every week, although there were a few times in February where I didn't because of having two colds during that month.
Oh,
And
sorry to hear that.
I also missed, it's all good. And I missed last week because last Monday I had an event, and then the next night I was going to do it, but then some problems happened at home that left me a bit emotional. It was stuff that I felt was unnecessary, or not that the feelings weren't valid from another person, but that the way it was approached left me with a sour taste in my mouth, and
I understand.
yeah.
So, Brian, I wanna disclose to the audience and everyone else that I have been in your show, and you talk about this often that you are on the spectrum, and the reason I do love your show so much is because you are vulnerable. You make yourself vulnerable when you do your show, and I'm positive. And this is just because I have watched your show. This is not because I was reading you. Okay. So, and I do feel you. Okay. So, that went from the start before you even opened your mouth. So I just wanted to let everyone know that first. So now I'm going to ask you, is there any concerns you're having in your life, something you're dealing with now, or yeah, let's go with something you're dealing with now.
Um, well, I did have a concern last week because, and it's happened before where sometimes I like really don't know if it's the end or if I'm going to be pushed out of here. Um, so that is the first thing. But for the moment, I'm I'm all right. I think I think the concern right now, if anything, is just how Easter will go on Sunday. Um, that would be the concern.
Is
Um,
there a special event, other than, going to church for Easter Sunday? Is there a special event?
well, we're getting together with my cousin, and his parents are coming up from um, South Carolina. So um, uh, I'm excited to see them. It's just that uh, all the preparation and like, and by the way, I haven't been at church physically in 3 years. Um, I've been I've
I
been
understand.
worshiping church online throughout that entire time. The pandemic changed a lot of different things. I'm not afraid of going out. It's not that. It's that I don't really get deep conversations with people at church, and and because I use my car a lot more now for networking events,
Hmm.
um, I I don't really want to drive a half hour and not be getting something more than just a mass out of it. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't I don't necessarily feel like um, there's enough deep connection with churches right close to me.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so, I mean, I don't want to say everything is bad because it's not.
No,
But
no. Actually, you've given me enough. So
okay,
you're what you're feeling, and especially with being on the spectrum, what you're feeling is overwhelmed. And with that feeling of being overwhelmed, that's bringing in fear. And it's bringing in the fear of you might say the wrong thing, you might do the wrong thing, uh, it may not go well. And then your mind starts moving and moving, and all of these thoughts are coming into your head. And I haven't been to church, and this and that, and all of that. And, it can even get to what's God going to think? What's God going to think of me? So your mind is bringing all of these pressures, all of these pressures. But I have to go back to you, Brian. You are goodness. You are good. You are a good person. And I'm not saying you're perfect, because you are not. You are not. You have
Perfectly.
outbursts just like anybody else would have an outburst. Okay. You get short with people just like other people get short with people. But the difference between you and other people, it's not that you're on the spectrum. That's not it. It's it's just you, and you really don't like it. You know how they say, oh, it's going to hurt you more than it hurts me, and all of these little sayings, it's going to hurt me more than it hurts you. Well, that's your case, because when you're not able to keep control, it hurts you. You feel horrible that you couldn't keep control. But what you need to remember, and I said it earlier when Dr. Judy and I were talking, is that we just need to be happy with yourself, with who you are. You're a great person. You're a great person. And we all have moments when we just kind of go nuts, like, oh my God, why did I do that? You know, it happens. So in this situation coming up, just take a little pressure off yourself, because it's only you that's putting it on yourself. And I know it's a little more difficult for you because it's because of your condition. It's a little more difficult. But remember, you're fantastic. You really are. You really are. Well, I can only talk about Fireside. But the first time I saw you on Fireside, I was like, oh, I love him. I just love him. I know I don't get into your show all the time and all of that, but I still love you. And it's because I can feel your energy. I know you're just goodness. Everybody else doesn't know that. That's part of the gift of being an empath. Now, I've met people that are on the spectrum and I don't feel goodness. Everybody is not like you. Everybody doesn't have that kindness and love in you and in them like you do. So you're very special. So just kind of remember that, during Easter. I haven't been to church in Easter in a long time either. Doggone long time.
Me either.
Yeah, see, but I do believe in God, and so I'm good with that. I'm good with that. So I hope that can help you a little bit on this Easter, and I hope that all goes well. And I'm pretty sure it will. If you have this knowledge, just remember how great you are, and it all will be good. And take some of the pressure off yourself. It's not it can be overwhelming, but your relatives coming up from the South, you actually like them. It'd be a different situation if you didn't like them. That I'd have told you something completely different. But you actually like them, so just enjoy it. Put your arms out and give them a big hug. And hugging might be hard for you, but whichever way you can show them love, whatever is best for you, that's the way you should do it. So
Yeah, I'm
I
a
hope that
huggy
can help
person.
some. Cool.
Judy.
Cool. And Dr. Judy, do you have something to add for Brian?
I would love to help heal him. Or would you be open? If
Oh,
I
you're
did
going to
something?
heal him on the spot?
I'm gonna do it. I'm
Oh,
gonna do
this is cool. Now see, I'm just trying to help you on the day to day. She's gonna help you for the ever.
I think we are an
Which-
awesome team.
Well, but which is cool. See, because a part of being happy with yourself, which I talk about a lot, is that I can be happy for you, Brian, if Dr. Judy does what she does and makes you feel great forever. I'm happy. And I can be happy for her to be able to do this. So, you're on, Dr. Judy.
Yay, it's what I love to do. I am very blessed. I'm very lucky and blessed to be able to do what I love to do and get paid for it. So I absolutely love it. So awesome, Brian. Do you mind?
No, I don't mind.
Awesome. Okay. So what I have for you is what will happen. Can you relate to that?
Yeah.
What will happen? Okay. So I'm going to explain what we're going to do. and then you're just going to follow along. So it's really just taking a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Is that good? In through your nose,
Yeah.
out through your mouth. Okay. And then when then I'm going to say take a deep breath in and hold. So you're going to take a deep breath in through your nose and hold. As you're holding your breath, I'm going to say a phrase out loud based on the information that we were just talking about. Okay. And then when I'm done talking, you're just going to go ahead and blow out through your mouth. I'll kind of walk you through it so you can understand. And then, so I want to do what will happen, and open to receiving love. I want to do those two, and then we'll do some positives, and everybody can follow along because it's not going to hurt you and it'll only help you. Now, this isn't going to be a full session, but it certainly will help. You ready?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, deep breath in and out. Good job. Okay, what will happen? Deep breath in and hold. Release all fear with what will happen. Good. Deep breath in and hold. I release overwhelm with what will happen. Deep breath in and hold. I release all anxiety with what will happen. Deep breath in and hold. I release all nervousness with what will happen. Deep breath in and hold. I release any and all insecurities with what will happen. Good. Deep breath in and out. Now, if you think about what will happen, does it feel a little bit lighter now? Or are you still nervous?
I'm a little lighter now.
Good. Awesome. So let's do open to receiving love. Ready? And everybody can follow along with us. Deep breath in and hold. I refill blocks with love, with I'm open to receiving love. Release. Good job. Deep breath in and hold. I refill blocks with receiving, with I'm open to receiving love. Let's do one more. Deep breath in and hold. I now activate within my DNA, open to receiving love. Awesome. All right. One last one. Deep breath in and hold. I'm so happy, thankful, and grateful. I am happy. Awesome. Deep breath in and out. And there's more that we can do, but I just wanted to give you a little example of what it is that we do and I can do. So how do you feel now, Brian? A little bit lighter? Better?
Yeah.
Awesome.
This is great. Brian, at one point, close to the end, you just started smiling. Did you realize that?
Yeah.
That's just amazing. I mean, really, it's just amazing. So, did you get cured tonight? Maybe. We'll see what happens, but I'm sure that Easter is going to be a lot more enjoyable for you. A lot more enjoyable. So, hey, high fives to you. You just got tag teamed. Yeah. All right. Oh, that was so cool. So here's a question I have for you, Dr. Judy.
Yes.
For me reading Brian first,
Mhm.
did that change anything for what you do?
No.
No. I was hoping you to say I did a better one than ever because of me.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, I thought it gave me more information that I didn't have to do myself, right? So, and so I mean, I think it was a nice team, right? So you picked up things that I wouldn't necessarily have maybe picked up because you were doing it intuitively. And so like you had overwhelm, fear, and pressure. I may have had to have muscle test that to found it versus you doing it intuitively. So I don't know, right? I wouldn't know that. But I did have a couple programs that I wrote down while I was talking to you, or while you were talking, and it was worried about saying the wrong thing and things not going well. And then I muscle test. I'm like, okay, so what is because sometimes I'm not good enough, or if I feel I'm not good enough, there's an underlying belief system, right? So almost all of us have the I'm not good enough syndrome at one point, right? At one point of our life, we feel that way or inadequate about things. But then you have to, for some people, that is the program, like that needs to be, but then there's layers underneath that need to be addressed, right? So it was nice for you to pull that up, because then I could be like, okay, what are these things? Is this really it? Or is it something else? Is it deeper? Then I have time to go deeper, right? Because then you're talking and you're doing, so I have the time to like, okay, so you guys are doing whatever you're doing. I can write it down and right. So then we could do a 3-4 minute thing for them, right? And they can get some benefit versus having to like sit and wait. And so, no, I think it's great. I think it's a great
Oh,
way to.
yeah, that was cool. That was very enjoyable. So Brian, was it enjoyable for you?
Oh yeah, it was definitely enjoyable for me.
That is great.
Can I add one thing, Brian? So, for manifesting and future pacing, anticipate a better outcome. Just picture it. Just play in your mind, like just imagination. Just imagine it going a way that you want it to go, and just keep playing that in your mind, and make it like a 30-second thing, right? You don't have to make a big deal out of it, but it's gonna be okay, right? And the more you convince yourself and you say those things, you're gonna convince yourself, and then it'll be a better outcome. It may not be exactly what you're picturing because you only have a couple days, but just practice it and just play with it and just be like, okay, it's going to be fine. I don't know how it's going to be fine. Just like I said, I'm amazing. I don't know why I'm amazing, but I'm amazing. And I figured that out, right? Eventually now it's like, okay, no, yeah, I'm amazing. I still don't know why, but I'm amazing, right? Because I like it. I like saying I'm amazing, right? It's just something good and cool to say. And then eventually there's people that came to me and were like, no, you really are. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I just manifested that, right? But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, and I will add too that I although I do live with my parents, I don't